Okay, so we're talking about chapter 6, and it's all about special parallelograms. So our first problem is ABCD is a parallelogram, so we're going to find BD. So first I equaled 5y minus 4 and 2y plus 8 because these two sides are congruent to each other. So I added 4 on both sides. So I got 5y equals 2y plus 12. Then I subtracted 2y from both sides. This one canceled, and then we were left with 3y equals 12. Then we divided by 3 on both sides, and we finally got y equals 4. So we want to find what BD is. So now that we have y, we plug in 4 where y is. So it's 2 times 4 plus 8. So it's 8 plus 8, and that equals 16. So BD equals 16. And that's your answer. Okay, so in order for a rhombus to be a parallelogram, there has to be one pair of consecutive sides that are congruent, their diagonals are perpendicular, and one diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles. Okay. So now, our second problem is we're going to find BC. Now, the diagonals are congruent because parallelograms have congruent diagonals. So, since we are going to equal them together, so I did t plus 12 equals 3t. So we're going to subtract t on both sides, which is 12 equals 2t. Then we divide by 2 on both sides and we get t equals 6. So we want to know what BC equals, so we're going to do 3 times 6 equals 18 to get this half. And then we're going to do 6 plus 12 equals 18 to get this half. Notice they're congruent. Then you're going to add 18 plus 18 and you get 36. So BD equals 36 is your answer. In order for a rectangle to be a parallelogram, the diagonals have to be congruent, and it has 4 right angles. So we're going to use this graph, and we're going to try to see if the parallelogram is a rectangle or not. So we're going to use these points right here to find that. So AC, we're going to use the distance formula. So for AC equals 8 minus 0 squared plus 6 minus 2 squared. So then we get radical 64 plus 16, then we get radical 80. When you simplify, it turns to 4 radical 5. So we're going to keep this. We're not quite done yet, but we need this later. So then we're going to do BD. So BD equals radical 5 minus 3 squared plus 2 minus 6 squared. So then you get radical 4 plus 16. And then that equals radical 20. When you simplify, it equals 2 radical 5. So 2 radical 5 isn't equal to 4 radical 5. So therefore, parallelogram ABCD is not a rectangle because they're not congruent. Okay. So in order for a kite to be a parallelogram, the diagonals are perpendicular and one pair of opposite angles are congruent, which are usually these two right here. Now we're going to use this kite to find QR, which is right here. So we're going to use Pythagorean's theorem because this side right here is 13 and this side right here is 16. So if we want to find QR, we're going to use Pythagorean's theorem. So 13 squared plus 16 squared equals c squared. When you do all the math, it comes out to radical 425, which when you simplify, it comes out to be 5 radical 17. So QR equals 5 radical 17. And also PQ is congruent to QR, so PQ would also equal 517. If you wanted to find PS and RS, you would basically just do Pythagorean's theorem for this. And our real world problem is we have a gate and it has 2 diagonal bars going across it. So rectangles' diagonals are always congruent, so we're gonna find out HK, which is right here. So we're gonna do 30.8 plus 30.8, which equals 91.7, which is this one, but since diagonals are congruent, it'll be the same as HK, so HK equals 91.6 inches. And that's it. All right.